We're going to call the May the 20th meeting to order. We'll have the invocation by Mr. Hart, then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by Brad Lomneck. Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you through your abundant grace and mercy you've allowed us to come together to conduct the city's business. And Father, we pray that you help us to come in the spirit of unity. Even though we may disagree, let us not disrespect or disengage from one another, but to continue to work together as brothers and sisters. We thank you for blessing us to live in this beautiful piece of your creation that we call Ocoee. And we ask that you will continue to watch over our first responders, be with them on every call, watch over them as they watch over us. We're still careful to give you the praise, the honor, and the glory you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Commissioner Kennedy is absent. Commissioner Wilson?
Present.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here.
All right, we'll move down here to the presentations. We have Chick-fil-A beneficiary check presentation. They bringing the cow in?
Yeah. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager. I'm going to turn my time over to Beth Otts from Chick-fil-A. She's going to give a few kudos over for our 5K.
We're moving as fast as
Moving along. Oh, Lord, that one.
Good evening, everyone. We just want to thank you so much for coming out tonight, for us to be able to present our beneficiary check tonight from our 13th annual Chick-fil-A 5K with the City of Ocoee and the Kids Fun Run sponsored by Fravel Brewer Orthodontics. This year, we added Family Fun Day to the 5K, and we had a new route. It was amazing. Beautiful. We couldn't have asked for a better day, perfect weather, and we couldn't do it without the community sponsors that come out and help us. I think our sponsor board should be out front. Our gold sponsor, of course, is Health Central Orlando Health, which we're very thankful for their partnership. We had 3 silver sponsors this year as well, and also our bronze sponsors, some all new. We had like 4 new sponsors come on board this year for the centennial year, of course, for the City of Ocoee centennial year. We just want to thank everybody that participates every year. I want to thank my operators, Sid and Jeannie Boast, who make it happen in our community. Parks and Leisure Services, without them we could not do it. The City of Ocoee's partnership are amazing. Police department and fire department that participate every year with us. And of course, the runners. Without the runners, there's no 5K. And of course, our cow that comes out and helps out with the kids' fun runs and all the things that we do. We will have our 14th next year, and each year we pick a beneficiary that's a local beneficiary. They can apply, and they get a percentage of each of the entries to the 5K. The more runners we get, the bigger check that we can get. And this year, we were blessed to be able to have Blue Line Support as our beneficiary, who we'll be giving a check to tonight. I think they gave me a total, I think it's $1,376 we're going to give them this year. So we're very happy. I'd like to add up. Maybe I'll do that for next year to give you the total that we've given away in the 13 years. But it's always been a race with a purpose, not just a 5K, always giving back. And it's always a nonprofit that helps in our community. And a lot of times people don't even know who they are until they're the beneficiary. And then everybody gets aware of it and continues to help them. And that's really what we hope you'll do for Blue Line Support. Mark, do you want to say a few words about Blue Line Support? Just to let you know what it is if you're not familiar with it. And he's going to let you know how you can help.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Mark DiStefano. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I spent 43 years on the job. About 8 years ago, a group of us formed a group called the Wounded Officers Initiative. During the pandemic, unfortunately, they weren't able to continue going, and so we formed a group called the Blue Line Support. And we are a nationwide 24/7 hotline for law enforcement professionals, 911 dispatchers, support personnel and their families who are in crisis. We have counselors, we work with hospitals, We do a number of different things. We also teach peer support to law enforcement officers and support personnel, and we also help supervisors learn how to deal with stress with their employees. This was a wonderful event. We've never had anything like this in our existence. I want to thank the city of Ocoee, Chick-fil-A. The list is unbelievable how many people supported us this year. We have a website. We also have Facebook. We're very active on Facebook. So please, if you ever have a chance, look at our Facebook. Unfortunately, we have quite a few entries for officers who have passed away. But it's a fact of life that it happens, okay? During my career, I lost 18 friends in the line of duty, and, you know, it's something we live with. But please take a minute, look at our Facebook, spend some time on there, get to know us. Like I said, we also have a website. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I want to thank all these fine supporters who came out and helped us. We really appreciate it. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, Mark. And again, just want to say thank you to the community. We couldn't do it without you, and especially this year with it being the centennial, we just added some things here and there and had a great day. So we are looking at maybe doing that again next year, but you've got a year, okay? Really 11 months to get ready. So get those shoes out, dust them off, you know, get yourself ready, because next year we'd like to have the biggest one we've ever had. I say that every year, and every year it grows, but we want to make sure it's just the biggest that we can get, because the more runners we have, the bigger check we can give. And again, make sure you see our supporters, our sponsors. Without them, again, the city of Ocoee, Fravel Brewer Orthodontics, of course, Chick-fil-A, Orlando Health, Health Central. We had Minuteman Press, who helped us, Texas Roadhouse, community partner, who always helps us. And the lake, this year we had the Oasis at Lake Bennett was new with us as well as a silver sponsor. So guys, thank you. Come out, read what we're doing, see where you can help, and I hope some of you will look up Blue Line Support and see if that's something that you can help them with too. And if you have a nonprofit, don't forget, we'll post the application probably about December, January, and put yourself in. You know, we go through and somebody will be picked out of that group to be 14th year beneficiary. Have a blessed night.
Beth,
Yes, sir.
y'all come up front, line up across the front, and we'll get a
have
picture.
to.
We'll get a pictures of you up here. I want to say real quick about Chick-fil-A. Besides my mama's chicken, that's one of the best chicken I ever eat. I can't quit on my mother's chicken. But I will say that the other best thing about them is if you never had the peach milkshake during the summer, woo, win. I'm on a diet, but I'll be there.
It's Christmas in a cup. I'm sorry. Hey, Howard, it's Christmas in a cup.
Yep,
I'm
it
sorry.
is, man.
I like Christmas.
Oh, the peach milkshakes, woo, they're great.
Okay, you want to put it over?
Come on in, come on in.
Well, I gotta get away from the cow here.
Come on over. There you go. Can you get there? There you go.
There we
Nice.
go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your help.
Hey, it's good to see you. I give you a hug, but I can't climb over. Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
I got a place for it in my office.
Hey, Craig.
Okay. And now we have some more here. We got the Ocoee Youth Council Program 2024-25 year and review recognition of Ocoee Youth Council high school graduates. Ocoee Youth Council members and Municipal Records Coordinator Justice will now give the presentations. All right? Take over.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, City Manager Shadrax, Miranda Justice, Municipal Records Coordinator, and one of our OIC coordinators. This evening, the Ocoee Youth Council will present their 2024-2025 year in review. Each member of the Youth Council has selected a community event or department to highlight. They will share their experiences with the community and summarize what they learned from the departments they had the privilege to shadow. I will begin by introducing OIC member Zanetta.
The Descendants Dinner is an annual event hosted by High Point Church and the city to remember the victims of the Ocoee Massacre. It honors those who lost their lives and helps raise awareness about racial equality and social justice. At the dinner, community members, activists, and historians came together to share stories, educate others about the past, and talk about how we can make things better today. This year's event was especially meaningful because it included the unveiling of the memorial wall at Unity Park. Ocoee Youth Council was proud and honored to be a part of both events. We learned a lot about the struggles the descendants face and how they stayed strong through it all. I will now introduce OIC Chair Demetrius and Vice Chair Jaden.
Through the time I've spent being a part of the Ocoee Youth Council, we have participated in numerous volunteer events, including a few with the OPD. The Ocoee Police Department collects toys each year to distribute to children in need during the holidays. This year, we assisted with the toy drive, which consisted of transporting, marking, and sorting toys. We also engaged with the officers who were able to help us and had an overall enjoyable time doing good for the community. We came together to help provide toys to children who are less fortunate and who are not able to get lots of gifts under their trees for the holidays.
Due to our efforts, in addition to celebrating the holidays with the joy and love of their families, children were able to know and understand what it feels like to have a Christmas with the joy of opening presents and the feeling of getting a cool toy and what they wanted. Thank you, OPD, for allowing the OIC to have a role in our city and have the chance to make other people happy. I will now introduce OIC member Miley.
At the Brunch with Santa event, the Ocoee Youth Council helped run the serving lines. After families ate, we organized supplies and helped kids with fun activities like cookie decorating and making marshmallow snowmen. The kids had a great time and loved meeting Santa. After that, we helped clean up the lawn at the Withers McGuire house and directed cars heading to the car show at the Lakeshore Center. I'll now introduce OIC member Isabella and Mariska.
Being part of the Ocoee Youth Council has helped us learn leadership skills and how our city government works. We've learned a lot through hands-on activities and volunteer events. At the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade, we helped set up the lineup so participants knew where to go, and we also put up signs along the parade routes.
Going to the MLK Jr. Day Parade was an eye-opening experience. We learned a lot about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and everything he stood for, like equality, peace, and standing up for what's right without using violence. It was cool to see so many different people come together to celebrate his legacy. The parade made us think about how far we've come, but also how much more we still need to do. Overall, it inspired us to be kinder, speak up against unfairness, and try to make a difference in our own way. I will now introduce OIC Chair Demetrius.
This year, the OIC took part in the Florida League of Cities Youth Council Excellence Project. For this project, we decided to visit the Ocoee Cemetery and clean headstones with soap and water, and we were scrubbing till our sponges fell apart. We chose to refresh the cemetery because we wanted to serve those no longer with us and create a peaceful place for all that visit the cemetery. We also planted new flowers in front of the sign at the cemetery entrance, and I enjoyed this part of the project because I liked serving our community and making it just a little bit more beautiful. The Ocoee Youth Council volunteered at the Spring Into Conservation event in March. Our members floated around between city booths, helping wherever needed, and we assisted with the butterfly gardens, the 100-year centennial booth, registration booth, and rain barrels, and even helped organize the crowd at the Gatorland tent. I specifically enjoyed this event because I loved watching all the kids and families enjoy their time together. Overall, Spring Into Conservation was one of my favorite events of the year. I will now introduce OIC member Mariska.
Each year, the Youth Council travels to Tallahassee to participate in an educational networking event called Youth Council Legislative Action Days, sponsored by the Florida League of Cities. This year, we learned about effective communication, which is an important life skill. Visiting Tallahassee for legislative days was a really cool and meaningful experience. We are thankful for Sergeant Coleman and Officer Gonzalez from the police department who drove us to Tallahassee and back in a whirlwind day. We got to tour the state capitol and see where laws are made, which helped us better understand how our government works. During the seminars, we really enjoyed learning about how important communication is, especially being a good listener and being sensitive to other people's opinions and experiences. It taught us that effective communication isn't just about talking, but also understanding and respecting others. This trip definitely showed us how we can become better leaders and more thoughtful people in our communities. I will now introduce OIC member Isabella.
The Chick-fil-A 5K and Family Fun Day brought the community together for a morning filled with fitness, fun, and plenty of smiles. Runners of all ages laced up their shoes for the scenic 5K route, while families enjoyed games, face painting, food, and music at the finish line festivities. With Chick-fil-A treats, local vendors, rides, and engaging activities for all ages, it was a day full of energy and hometown spirit. The event was a huge success and a perfect reminder of the joy that comes from spending time with our community. I will now introduce OIC member Zanetta.
When the Ocoee Youth Council career shadowed at the fire station, we learned a lot about the important work firefighters do and how they stay safe. One fun fact I discovered is that mustaches are the only type of facial hair they're allowed to grow, as they need to maintain a seal with their face mask for safety during emergencies. The deputy chief, captain, and crew at Station 25 showed us the equipment they use, how the stretchers work, and even let us sit in the fire engine. It was fascinating to see the balance between tradition and safety in the fire department's culture. I will now introduce OIC member Gunner.
During our career shadowing day at Utilities, we learned about water, wastewater, and irrigation with reclaimed water. We got to take a tour of the wastewater plant and see the process of how incoming wastewater is separated and treated. We learned about the importance of water quality and also how engineering and GIS play a role in providing utility services to our community. I will now introduce OIC Chair Demetrius and Vice Chair Jaden.
During our career shadowing experience with the police department in January, the Youth Council had the opportunity to observe a K-9 demonstration. We learned about the high level of training, trust, and dedication required between the K-9 and its handler. It was a valuable experience that showed us the important role they play in keeping our community safe.
While shadowing the police department, OIC also had the privilege to watch a SWAT demonstration. Chief Ogburn and Lieutenant Olson worked with nearby agencies to give us the full experience, and we are grateful for their support. We even got to try on ballistic gear and sit inside the SWAT vehicle, which was really exciting. I'll now introduce OIC member Alonso.
When career shadowing human resources, OIC learned about how the department functions and plays a role in our local government. They are responsible for the hiring process, background checks, training, offering employee benefits, and risk management. Director Wilson took a deep dive into risk management, teaching us about insurance and everything that is required to run the city on a daily basis. Human Resources does everything from resolving workplace conflicts to planning fun activities to bring all of the city staff together.
This concludes the annual report presentation by the Ocoee Youth Council. Now I will briefly highlight the Youth Council Scholarship Program, which was approved by the City Commission on December 5th, 2023. OIC members are eligible to receive up to $250 per year of participation on the Youth Council, provided that they meet the scholarship qualification guidelines for that year. Each member received an outline of the program when they joined and was informed that additional criteria might be added as the program develops. For the 2024-2025 school year, I am pleased to announce that OIC members contributed a total of 420 volunteer hours to the Ocoee community, and our 7 seniors have qualified for scholarships. Allow me to introduce our seniors to the City Commission, and then I would like to invite you to present them with their scholarship checks. Allison Belemjin is a graduate of Keystone Academy as well as Valencia College with an Associate in Arts degree. She is our first student to complete all 4 years of high school as an OIC member. She had a prior commitment and was not able to join us this evening. Alonzo Ramasar is graduating from Ocoee High School. Gunnar Patterson is also graduating from Ocoee High School. Isabella Carreño is graduating from Ocoee High School. Jaden Sibbett is graduating from Legacy High School. Mariska Viscosilova is graduating from Ocoee High School. And Zanetta Arthuro is also graduating from Ocoee High School. Zanetta is also a recipient of the Florida League of Cities Council to College Scholarship. She is the first OIC member to ever receive this award. It's also her 18th birthday today. In closing, we would just like to say thank you for continuously supporting the Ocoee Youth Council.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you come down front, commissioners, and we'll do these checks. Or copies. Come on down, commissioners, we'll get the picture when we get through.
I'm gonna change it up a little bit since the checks are so big. Can I get you guys in between? Yeah, go between each one.
Go between each one.
You guys, do we have enough commissioners? Okay. Rich?
Congratulations.
Only my good side. I haven't figured out which one it is.
It's great to see kids doing well. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Before they leave, I want to say thank you to our staff, Melanie and,
Miranda.
can't say- I've known her since she was a little girl. I can't say the name. I wanted to thank y'all for your participation in working with them, especially on the trip. You go to Tallahassee and go with them around. A lot of walking. We appreciate it very much. And we truly appreciate them going to the cemetery and working and doing that. That was a great thought. Thank you. Huh? Oh, I know. I can read that.
No, I know that, it's good.
I just don't know her name.
Aaron.
Ocoee Youth, let's see, Florida League of Cities presentation of the 2025 Youth Council Excellent Award to Ocoee Youth Council. Did they leave? Oh, they're back there.
I
Okay.
was gonna say, that's what I didn't want to.
Yeah, they're going to have to get another picture.
There will be another picture, yes. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, staff, citizens, and the outstanding members of the Ocoee Youth Council. My name is Erin Russell, and I am the Member Services Administrator from the Florida League of Cities, which is located in Tallahassee, Florida. And just for those who are not familiar with the Florida League of Cities, we have served as the united voice for Florida's 411 cities, towns, and villages for more than a century. And since our founding, our mission has remained the same, which is to protect local decision-making, because we believe the best decisions are made by those who know their communities best. And so let me begin by saying thank you to the City of Ocoee for being a valued and dedicated member of the Florida League of Cities. And a special thank you to Mayor Pro Tem Wilson for serving on the League's Board of Directors. Thank you for your leadership and commitment to the Florida League of Cities. And congratulations to all for 100 years of your municipality. What a great time for me to be here. Tonight, I am honored to recognize the Ocoee Youth Council, who was selected as a winner in the Florida League of Cities 2025 Youth Council Excellence Award. Through this program, the League invited youth councils to showcase initiatives that made a meaningful impact in their community. And this is a statewide competition that's open to all Florida municipal youth councils, and only 3 projects are selected as winners. So you heard a little bit about it already, but the project that was selected as a winner was the Ocoee Youth Council's initiative to clean up their local cemetery. This project aimed to improve the cemetery's appearance, help the younger generation connect with the area's history, and to honor an underserved segment of the community. Through innovative planning, collaboration, and hard work, the Youth Council accomplished its goals of cleaning headstones and planting flowers to improve the landscape. One of the lines that they put in their submission that really stood out to me said this: "Although cemetery cleanups may not be as noticeable or desirable, they are just as valuable. As a youth council, we wanted to demonstrate that even work that goes unseen by many still matters." Their efforts brought new life to a place of deep significance to this community, and it showed respect and care for the legacy of those who came before us. And it's a project that reflects both civic pride and compassion. So in addition to the trophy that I'm here to present this evening, the Youth Council will also receive a check for $500 to help fund future community projects and continue their outstanding work. So if I can invite you all back up to the front, please. On behalf of the Florida League of Cities, I want to say congratulations and keep up the good work.
Awesome, awesome job.
Chair,
It's good.
can I hand you the trophy? Austin.
Slide down, Commissioners. There we go. Ready?
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. Well, presentation on understanding soil and water conservation districts. Orange County Soil and Water Conservation District 2 Supervisor, Dr. Moyer.
Happy Centennial. My name's Dr. Moyer. As the mayor just mentioned, I'm on the Orange County Board of Supervisors, soil and water supervisors. Everyone, please grab a shovel and dig in, because we're going to dig into the understanding of the Orange County Soil and Water Conservation Districts. We're going to talk quickly about the past, present, and future. In the past, in 1862, when Florida was still 95% rural, a lot of important things took place. Number one, the U.S. Department of Agriculture was formed and states copied, thus the Florida Department of Agriculture. Land grant universities were formed, okay, where the federal government gave land to the states for universities to teach agriculture. In our state, it's UF, or what became UF, and FAMU. The third important item is the Homestead Act. And what the Homestead Act did was it gave land to people free of charge, but they had to farm it. And this becomes very important. In 1929 through 49 was the Great Depression. I'm sure everyone's heard about this. Unemployment went from 3% to 25% during a 4-year period. And effectively, it was really 50% because no one worked full-time. They had to work part-time. Manufacturing went down 1/3. And there simply wasn't enough government and local support. At the same time, or during the same period, from 1931 to 1939, there was what they called the Dust Bowl. The people after World War I, after 1918, they took advantage of the Homestead Act. They were given free land to farm in areas such as Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, North Dakota, Kansas. And in the 1920s, the roaring 20s, and rain was coming down, it went pretty well, or they thought so. But actually what they were doing was tearing up the soil, removing the whole topsoil. Then in 1931 came a whole decade of drought. And during this time, there was extreme poverty, poor soil, agricultural practices, extreme temperatures, the decade-long drought, high winds, soil erosion, dust clouds, poor government land management, and then Black Sunday, April 14th, 1935. If you speak to your ancestors, they'll remember that day because the dust from the Great Plains came all the way to the East Coast and into the Atlantic Ocean. It came all the way into DC. It made buildings in New York City brown from the dust and dirt because of all these issues of not properly farming and Mother Nature. So in 1935, after all these winds came, the U.S. government had no choice. They passed an act and created the Soil Conservation Service, which today is known as the Natural Resource Conservation Service, which is still in existence. They formed the Standard State Soil Conservation District Act, and then President FDR issued a letter in 1937 telling all the governors pass this model act, and they did. In Florida, it became eventually Florida Statutes Chapter 582, Soil Conservation District Act. And then in the next couple decades, there local charter districts, like here in Orange County, we got chartered in 1945, but throughout Florida and the other states, they got chartered and formed. What Chapter 582 did is it allows for local unfunded districts ran by elected volunteers to be chartered, and that's exactly what we are. In 1965, the U.S. government passed the U.S. Water Quality Act, and Florida added, and many states added, and water. So now we're soil and water conservation districts. And there are actually 3,000 conservation districts now in the United States, and they all stem from this same model act. And the purpose is to coordinate the assistance to landowners from available sources, public, private, state, federal, local, basically form partnerships to make healthy soil, clean water, and a clean environment, and that's what our job is. It's a little different in each state depending on what state you're in. In our specific state, the purpose is provide assistance, guidance, and education to landowners, land occupiers, the agricultural industry, and the general public in land and water resource protection practices. And that's what our job is. So we're unfunded. We have to go out and partner with people, and whether it's the federal government or whomever it is. Right now in Florida, there's 47 of us, and we're in various counties. There was a mandated review last year and by the state, and we have a lot of work to do. So we need to form some partnerships. Today, there's a lot of other services here available in Orange County, and we need to reach out and partner with all of these here. Why is all this important? Population explosion. These are amazing numbers if you take a look at them. In the 130 years from 1900 to anticipated 2030, Orange County is 146 times more people are here than in 1900. Florida is 45 times more people than in 1900. The population just exploded. And of course, that increases the demand on resources. The future, we need all hands on deck. That's the bottom line. Why? Because of our children. We have to protect the environment. Please don't waste water. Please conserve in all aspects. Okay, the EPA says the climate change, and we're definitely under a period of climate change. And we live in a state where 6 months out of the year, there's a risk of hurricane. But because of climate change, the winds could get heavier, stronger than ever. The rains could be heavier than ever. Agricultural runoff. It could happen anywhere, and we have 600 farms here in Orange County, according to USDA. That runoff can go into our many, many bodies of water we have throughout Florida and throughout the Orange County. What we need to do is implement the best management practice. Florida has a system, the Department of Agriculture, Florida, has best management practice. And what we need to do is implement that, make sure that it's implemented everywhere. Are our farms practicing best management practice? Is the chamber and the farms there doing agricultural? We need your help. We need your support. We're a totally unfunded area, and please support us. And thank you for your time and the 10 minutes, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Moyer. Okay, staff reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things I need to go over. The first one is the schedule for the budget workshops and hearings. We have polled the commission for their availability, and tonight you need to pick between August 25th or 27th for the first budget workshop. And then we would reserve September 3rd for a second budget workshop if needed. Excuse me. And then September 10th would be the tentative budget hearing, and 17th would be the final budget hearing. We believe, after talking to you, that that works with all of your schedules. So if you could, by consensus, let us know if you prefer the 25th or the 27th for the first workshop. That would be great.
I have no problem with any of I don't know about anyone else.
Huh?
I don't have any problem with any
I
of
don't
those.
either.
No, I'm good with all those dates.
They're good. Okay, so we will pick the first budget workshop date and let you know.
The 25th or 27th.
I'd like to talk to finance, but it'll be either the 25th or 27th.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along, McCormick Road, Commissioner Oliver had brought this up at a meeting. I have corresponded with Orange County about it. The latest update I have right now for the commission is the roadway is set to be reopened by the end of this month, which would be the week of Memorial Day. And the opening of the road is contingent upon a guardrail being delivered this week, hopefully. And the earlier it comes in, the sooner the road will be open.
You said end of this month?
Yes, so
So let's add 30 days to that.
I didn't say that,
We're
but
going to add
yes.
30 days to that.
Now, that's not possible.
This is the county doing this, right?
Okay, one other thing I wanted to provide an update on, and it became the subject of some discussion over the weekend. As you all are aware, we have an interim operator at Forest Lake Golf, Down to Earth, that the commission approved. And I announced incorrectly to the commission that the restaurant hours are currently 7 to 6, based on information that Down to Earth provided. And unfortunately, it came to our attention that they are not keeping those hours currently because they are short-staffed and are in need of hiring a new cook. So that is something that I wanted to make sure I corrected on the record. We have directed them to go back and give us an actual for what they're going to be serving menu-wise and hour-wise, and to communicate more effectively with us. I will tell you that so far the transition, and I believe today makes, I believe we are at 19 days today since they took over. The numbers have been very good so far, even with the rains that we had last week. And they have started a solid tine aerification, fertilization, and top dressing of the greens, and I believe it's now complete. And they have a huge list of things that they have to get done to address pre-emergent vegetation this spring and some of the conditions out there. So at the next commission meeting, I've asked Robert Utze with ZHA, along with Down to Earth, which would probably be Nick Dunleavy, and Mark Johnson with Parks and Leisure, to provide a detailed 30-day-in update. And I'm hopeful that anyone watching this will apply for the cook job up there, qualified only, and we will be able to report everything is working as we had planned. I appreciate the feedback from the commission on the RFP. We anticipate getting that out early next week. And that's exciting because that will bring about a new era at Forest Lake Golf. And that's all I had.
All right. Let's move, that's all your staff reports? Public comments? Nobody's filled out any forms, so we'll go move on. All right, consent agenda. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Commissioner Forstner,
I'll second it.
seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Any more comments? Not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimous with Commissioner Kennedy absent. All right, public hearings. Number 5, approval of resolution for partial vacation of the 5-foot utility easement on lots 1, 12, 13, 24, 25,
Are we missing something?
36, 37, and 48 of the Magnolia Reserve Townhome subdivision.
Mayor,
Are we missing? I think
sorry,
we're
we
missing-
have a
Did I miss
second.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which one
second
did I
reading.
skip?
The second reading. Item number 4.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was with the, I'm sorry. I was looking at consent agenda. We'll go back to that, number 4. Second reading of ordinance for 283 10th Avenue, Cox property annexation and rezoning from Orange County R2 to City of Ocoee R1. Banner, let's see. Belizaire?
Belizaire, yeah.
There you go.
Oops. Let's see. That's the wrong button. Alrighty, yep, that's working. Okay, good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be presenting on the Cox property annexation and rezoning for their property located at 283 10th Avenue. Okay, so for issues, it is whether or not the City Commission should approve the annexation from the county into the city, as well as the rezoning of the property from County R1, which is residential district, to City R1, which is single-family dwelling district. So a bit of background on the property. It's located on the northwest corner of 10th Avenue and Peters Avenue intersection. The total lot is about 0.36 acres large. The property is eligible for annexation because it is adjacent to other city properties. It is eligible for water service, and it reduces the amount of existing enclaves. It is also consistent with the JPA future land use map, which is low-density residential. Here we have an aerial of the property showing where it is located. This is the surrounding zoning map. As you can see, the adjacent city properties with the R1 zoning designations. And this is the surrounding future land use map showing the surrounding areas of low-density residential. So for recommendations, the Development Review Committee as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission are making a recommendation of approval for the proposed annexation and rezoning. And similarly, staff is also making the recommendation of approval for the annexation of the property from Orange County into the city, as well as rezoning it from County R1 to County R2 to City R1 for the property located at 283 10th Avenue. With that, that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
All right.
Ready for me to read? I'll start with the annexation ordinance. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.36 acres located at 283 10th Avenue on the northwest corner of the 10th Avenue and Peters Avenue intersection, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the update of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, and providing for an effective date. Next is the rezoning ordinance, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R2, residential district, to City of Ocoee R1, single-family dwelling district, on certain real property containing approximately 0.36 acres located at 283 10th Avenue on the northwest corner of the 10th Avenue and Peters Avenue intersection, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, prevailing in the event of any inconsistency, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, we need any comments from the commissioners? First, I'm going to open it to the public. Anybody in the public have any comments on item 4? All right, no comments. We'll close it and bring it back to the dais. Anybody, commissioners, have any comments? No? No comments? I need a motion on, first we'll do the motion on the annexation, and then we'll do the one on rezoning.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson for the annexation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Ferstner. Any more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously without Commissioner Kennedy. All right, now we need one for the rezoning.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Ferstner. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Kennedy absent. All right.
Welcome to Ocoee.
Welcome to Ocoee. All right.
That's right.
All right. Approval of a resolution for partial vacation of the 5-foot utility easements on Lot 1, 12, 13, 24, 25, 36, 37, and 48 of the Magnolia Reserve Townhome Subdivision. McFarland. Yes, sir. Coordinator.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight, staff is bringing before you a resolution for the vacation of 8 separate utility easements, or a partial vacation on 8 different lots within the Magnolia Reserve subdivision. The lots are identified as lots 1, 12, 13, 24, 25, 36, 37, 48. And it is the front 34 feet running from the front to the rear of the property of a side 5-foot utility easement. In this aerial, you can see the location of the lots within the subdivision. I have a better aerial showing some of the actual site plan and identifying the lots, but this is located in Commission District 1. It's, as I said, the easements are located on the side yard, and this is only a partial vacation at the request of the developer for the front 34 feet running from the front of the property to the rear. And the vacation request came from the developer due to the installation of some walkways and partial structural columns within the easement. At the time of site plan, this wasn't identified. However, when the developer got into the permitting stage, it was recognized that they wanted to add these walkways as well as the partial columns within the easement, which the city does not allow. So that's the reason for this vacation request. Per our standard practice, we sent letters to our standard list of utility providers, and we have received no letters of objections. And this is a better site plan showing the entire development and the location of the easements on those specific lots. In October of 2023, I just want to recognize that the final subdivision plans did not show the easements. However, in May 2024, the final plat that was recorded did show the easements. So that's kind of how this occurred. And then this is an example specific to Lot 1 that shows the location of the proposed walkway. And as you can see right below that, we have the 5-foot utility easement running from the rear of the property to the front. So that's why they're requesting the vacation, is because of that walkway and the columns, as I said. With that in mind, staff does recommend that the Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners approve this proposed resolution for the vacation of, or the partial vacation of these 5-foot utility easements located on those 8 distinct lots. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Will you go ahead and read the resolution?
Sure will. A resolution of the City of Ocoee, Florida, abandoning and vacating the front 34 feet of the 5-foot utility easements on lots 1, 12, 13, 24, 25, 36, 37, and 48 of the Magnolia Reserve Townhome Subdivision, as shown in the plat of the Magnolia Reserve Townhomes of Ocoee, as recorded in Plat Book 115, page 93 and page 94 of the Public Records of Orange County, Florida, providing for recordation, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody in the public have any comments on item 5? Approval of resolution for partial vacation. Anybody? No comments. Close it and bring it up to the dais. Anybody have any comments, or I need a motion?
I'll be happy to make, I'm sorry.
All right,
I'll be happy to make the motion if there's no comments.
okay. Motion approved by Commissioner Wilson for number 5. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Kennedy absent. All right, we'll go down to regular agenda, number 6. Discussion on issues related to the Code Enforcement Board and direction to seek alternatives to include using a special magistrate. Police Chief Ogburn.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. The Ocoee Police Department would like to request that Commission Board reconsider and would like to have a special magistrate to hear all code enforcement related cases to include both residential and commercial. The Code Enforcement Board has not had a meeting due to a lack of quorum since October of 2024. Now, we don't have meetings in November and December due to the holidays. However, there were no meetings in the months of January, February, and March due to a lack of quorum. And due to Code Enforcement Board lack of quorum since October 2024, and in accordance with Chapter 7 of the City Code, the city manager decided to temporarily assign all residential code enforcement violation cases to a special magistrate. The months of April and May, the special magistrate heard several of the backlog cases, about 15 to 20, and all of those cases that were heard were resolved and heard without incident. There are several concerns about having a lack of quorum. One is it delays case resolution and the violations remain unaddressed, which can lead to continued noncompliance. Secondly, it adds to the deterioration of the community standards. And third, it erodes that public trust, which will ultimately lead to the public to lose faith in the city's ability to maintain order and fairness. And ultimately, it's an inconvenience for the citizens to make plans to adjust their schedules and to show up and that there is no board being held. There are several options that I have come up with for the commission to consider. One is to reduce the quorum requirement by amending the ordinance to allow a smaller number of board members to constitute a quorum while maintaining fair representation. Secondly, you can appoint alternate members to the board, basically establishing a pool of alternates who can step in when regular meeting members are absent. And thirdly, you transition to a special magistrate who is a licensed attorney, and it will streamline the enforcement, reduce any delays in citizens getting their cases heard, and it will ensure legal expertise in the decision-making. Another reason that we would like to have a magistrate is the magistrate typically has a legal background on a formal training and judicial process, which ensures consistent application of the laws. Due process is upheld in all hearings. Magistrates are better equipped to interpret complex or disputed provisions in the residential codes. They are more consistent with the schedule and resolution of the cases and consistent availability to hear cases. Some of the challenges with the board members are typically volunteers or appointees who may lack formal legal training, and the recurring issues with achieving a quorum have delayed the resolution cases.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right, commissioners, comments?
I'd like to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I always like to have our residents involved in advisory boards. I mean, a lot of us started out on advisory boards, and we have spent a lot of time doing this. The problem I have with code is the situation is that if there's 3 months that folks, we have neighbors that are very upset over what's happening in their neighborhood, and now all of a sudden you don't have someone there for 3 months, that it just prolongs the agony of the issue that's happening. Having alternates is a concern to me, because what do? Call them the night day of and say, we have a space for you? I mean, that's very unfair to a resident to say, would you like to come tonight? Well, we didn't want you for the regular board, but we'd like to have you come just for tonight because someone isn't showing up. That's unfair to a resident. You know, I've received an email a text message from, I think, the vice chair, Mr. Lewis, and he, of course, would like us to keep the board, which I understand, but I'm torn between the board not having a meeting for 3 months, and then we have a magistrate that can implement it immediately. So it's a tough situation, but I guess I'm looking at the magistrate at this point. Even if we did it for 6 months till we could reorganize the code board. Again, it's a tough decision to make, but I just do not want to see us go for months without a meeting.
I agree, Commissioner.
You do?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Commissioner Forster, you have any comments?
I agree. Getting volunteers nowadays is getting more and more difficult to serve on any of the boards. To get a pool of alternates, I don't see that happening. I think the only prudent thing to do in regard to the expediency of these cases being presented and heard and a professional decision being made by a legal expert, I think the magistrate is the way to go.
True? You done?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
I agree with Commissioner Wilson and Commissioner Ferschner only in part. I agree with the idea of having citizens and have a voice on the Code Enforcement Board. I'm not sure how, about alternates, I'm not sure about alternates either. I don't think that's going to be fair to a citizen if you call them up at the last minute. I definitely agree with that. And say, hey, come on to the board meeting, and there's no guarantee they're going to be available. One of the things that I've seen in the past is if we have a board that's not effective and cannot perform the duties that they have been assigned to do or appointed to do, then we strip that board down and we revamp it and open it up for folks that really want to sit on the board. So I would like to see the board disassembled from the members that have been missing these meetings and re-established the board with members or at least applications of folks that really want to sit on the board. I have 2 applications right now, folks that want to sit on the HRDB board. I've already assigned a person to the board, and these other folks that just want to sit on a board to serve the city. So there are folks out there that really wants to participate and be a part of what goes on in the city, and they will show up for the meetings and make sure we have a quorum. So my suggestion, if we perhaps look at bringing in new members of the board, that we can make the quorum.
All right. My opinion is the same as you took the words out of my mouth, Commissioner Oliver. I believe if we got people that don't want to be there, they can't, if you can't make it, there's reasons why. If it's 1 time, 2 times, then there's a problem. So what we need to do is go back and redo that board. Also, it is what we need for, I think, the citizens to be on that board. I think they need to see and understand it and be able to judge, too, what we're doing with that board. So I feel the same way. I know we have a magistrate for the commercial, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I would like to see if we don't give up yet. Let's see if we can come up with redo this board. Just tell them, I mean, we're not firing them, we're just asking them if they can't come, we'll change. You know, so it's free, they're not getting paid anyway, so I think we owe it to see if we can find out and find some new people that'll fit in there and come to the board meetings. So I know did you fill out a form?
I didn't, but I'll be.
You have to fill out a form and I'll let you come up and talk, okay?
Sure, that's fine.
Mayor, can I say something?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm waiting for, I know this gentleman's the chair. If we did a magistrate for 6 months and then came back, should I say after, let's get through the budget period, because that's going to be probably a little more eventful, and then come back and look at it in 6 months to where we can get, I mean, that's just a thought, and come back and review it in 6 months. See how it's going with the magistrate and see if we have folks that come forward.
I really don't want to do that. I would like to try to see if we could fix this board before we have to do that. If it doesn't work, if it happens again, then we'll have to change.
But we still need to keep the cases going, so
That's what I'm saying.
To keep the cases going with the magistrate.
Make sure, if not, we'll find somebody to put them on that board. We got to. We all have to do our job without finding somebody in the city that'll do it. I'm having lunch with a guy tomorrow that I think I can find him to be on the code enforcement board. So I can get him down to Mars, code enforcement. Yes, sir.
My name is Joe Bander. I am the chairman for the Code Enforcement Board, the Ocoee Board. And I heard your comments, and I really wish I would have had a chance to respond prior to hearing, but it's okay. You made some very good comments, Chief. I appreciate that. I know you and I spoke about this a little bit. I would like to inform you folks of a little bit about what happened. Again, our last board meeting was October of 2024, November, December, holidays. Traditionally, you know, the way it falls, the board is not going to convene, all right? January, I personally was out of town attending my son's birthday, and but that was made known back in July or August. So why the board didn't convene January, I don't really know. February, it was canceled, just notified via email, as the rest of the board members were. Because of this, I went and I went to the police department, and I saw Mr. Cruz, and she, I believe, is the secretary that is handling this stuff. And she had told me that the March one had been canceled, and also April at that time. And they said that, you know, we were going to revisit coming back in May. And they did say it was lack of quorum, although they didn't indicate who wasn't there. And I am actually trying to find out who wasn't going to be there in February, March, and April. All right, I'm taking that on. So it's a good board. It's a strong board. I've been on as a member, as a vice chair, and then chair. This is probably the strongest board that we've ever had, okay? I'm just saying that from my experience when I started on the board 6 or 7 years ago. What you folks may not be aware of is that we had a couple board members who were, had serious health issues, and they were out on medical. One had to deal with a spinal cord injury, surgery. Another one had to deal with a serious, it was brain cancer, all right? When I went to speak to the deputy clerk to get the official notice of the board members, it lists 7, but there was one gentleman who had resigned from the board. It just, for some reason, he is still being carried on there. So we started out with 6, really, and we had 2 that were out on medical. That puts us down to 4. And that's a very, very difficult position to be in, especially since you got to have all 4. Now, I like the idea of reducing the quorum number. I think that's a great idea. I will tell you that the special magistrate, I know him. I consider him a friend. He's a great guy. But you're having one person rule on the findings for the city of Ocoee, okay? It needs to be by the peers of Ocoee.
I'll give you one more minute because your time ran out a minute ago.
Oh, I
You have a
did?
3-minute time limit.
Oh, a 3-minute?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
I'm gonna give you another minute, so finish up.
I appreciate that. So I think we have an opportunity. I reached out to the board members, and I know my vice chair is here as well. This board is a good board. You should consider keeping it. But we would like some help in trying to find some, to fill the board and find some alternates. I was going to speak to Mr. Gaines when he was here, and Mr. Mears. They both did a phenomenal job when they were running this. And again, I'm not pointing fingers, but there was a difficult transition. It was a bad time. You know, we were going into November and December, and you guys were coming in, and we spoke. You know, it started out with, I know it's wrong, but Officer Beck, and then I spoke with Lieutenant Olson, and then Officer Coleman. So I have reached out to them. And like I said, we are, you know, I'm trying to help this, but the other guys have done such a great job that I feel like we need some support.
Okay. I
Okay?
appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Sure. You guys have any questions for me?
No, we've run over on that time, so I got another gentleman fixed to talk too.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
We'll bring it back to Dodson in a minute if they want to ask.
Okay.
We'll hit, send your form in too.
I've filled it out, yeah. Brad Lomnick, Veronica Place. I also spent a lot of time on this board. I was the vice chair for a long time. I think I've been off that board now for 6 years or so. But I think this board, along with some of our other boards, we probably need to look at the amount of members that are on that board. This board probably needs to go down to 5 members. So it'll help with the quorum issues that are there. And also, if you, if you don't show up, if you don't, you need to be kicked off the board after 2 meetings. I think it's very important that we have the citizens' voice, especially in this type of topic. So I would definitely say we should not disband this board. I believe we had the same conversation 7 years ago when we went to the commercial magistrate, and they at that time also wanted to get rid of the residential side of the board. I think it needs to happen. Citizens need to help police other citizens, right? There's a lawyer on that board, so they do help the novice citizens get through it. But I do think, again, we need to lower the amount of people on the board so we can keep quorum. So, thank you.
Thank you. The lawyer's gonna make a comment about the quorum. I'm gonna let him read off the legal thing of the quorum.
Yes, we would have to change the code to go down to a 5-member board. It says the city commission will appoint a 7-member board and a board attorney. The city commission may appoint up to 2 alternate members to serve on the board in the absence of board members. That's what it says currently. And also, currently, it states that the jurisdiction of the board and special magistrate shall be non-exclusive, provided, however, that the board shall have primary jurisdiction regarding violations relating to residentially zoned properties, and the special magistrate shall have primary jurisdiction regarding violations relating to properties zoned other than residential. Deviations from the primary jurisdiction set forth above shall be made by the city manager or designee, who shall have final jurisdictional authority. So that was the basis upon which the city manager is allowing the special magistrate to get rid of this backlog, temporarily at least, just so you all have some idea of the statutory basis for that.
All right. Do you understand that? You got it? Yeah, okay, all right, okay. Got to come back. All right, anybody?
First of all, I don't understand why we don't meet in November and December. I mean, it's why it can't be adjusted, because now you've got violations that are sitting there for 3 months. That's number one issue. Number two issue, I think it's maybe we, again, I said before, to let the magistrate handle for a few more months, reorganize the board. And again, so we don't have a backlog. We keep it moving forward. I know that, like, I'm the liaison to the Park and Leisure. And I don't think we had a meeting for the last 2 meetings because of quorum. And that's an issue. But on this issue, on this board, this is very important. I don't want to see where we don't have a quorum and we end up having a backlog. So, Mayor, I'm interested in going for 3 months with a magistrate and reorganizing the board, spending some time to reorganize the board.
Well, I do not want to do that, because I believe if we put the master in, it'll be staying there. So I know, but that stops it would tend to turn into where they would be there all the time and not through the 3 months. Anybody else got comments to that?
I don't like the idea of putting that kind of workload on one person. I was listening to the gentleman's comment, and if we have a backlog right now, and you put an audit on one magistrate, that's a lot. And it's a good chance something could be overlooked or missed. I still like the idea of having a board, but the practicality of it is, to me, is simply if you can't show up for the meeting, 1 meeting, 2 meetings, 3 meetings, whatever it may be, they need to be replaced. And I think that we need to open up that board for applications at this point, starting as early as tomorrow, being able to accept applications for the Code Enforcement Board for those folks that really want to sit on a board and serve.
Do we have an opening right now?
I'm sorry.
Do we have an opening right now?
Mayor, Commissioners, so currently the openings has been on the website because there are openings for that board. It's not at capacity right now.
Okay.
There are no alternate members, and I believe there might be 1 or 2 vacant regular member positions.
Well, who's the alternate? Are they filling in?
We don't have any applications on file, so we don't.
I'm pretty sure I got one for tomorrow, so I'll address that tomorrow. But I know Commissioner Oliver was saying kind of what I was saying what he was saying or whatever. I'm not wanting to do that. I think commercial, I have no problem with it. But local, dealing with local people in their houses and us setting the thing, I got a problem with the master. I know.
I know, what's the problem?
I know, you,
With 3 months and then
I know,
two,
but
they
you
can
said that
reorganize,
now.
yeah.
I mean, I know. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that is not what I want. And if the vote goes the other way, then the vote goes the other way. So we need a motion.
Mayor, if I may, just for clarification purposes, I've heard a couple of different things. If you guys wish to keep a code board in place, I've heard some comments about maybe making it smaller, changing some of the requirements. If we do that and it requires an ordinance, I would recommend that you allow us to continue with the magistrate until we bring the ordinance back. If you keep it exactly the way it is right now, then you can pick back up next month with the code board. But if we make changes, we'll have to do an ordinance change. It requires two readings to go into effect.
I'm not for doing the changing it, going down to 5. You need to stay at 7 and find the 7 people. I'm not for doing that, and I'm not for hiring somebody and putting them in there because it's going to do exactly what I just said to you. It's going to be, next thing you know, we'll just keep them. No, I'm not for that. Now, these gentlemen down here can vote the way they want. I just need a motion.
I'll be happy to make a motion for whether it passes or not. I say make a motion that we have the magistrate for 3 months. In the meantime, we are working on revamping the code board, finding residents who will serve on that board. And again, that's to reinstitute the code board as citizen-based.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion made and seconded. Any more comment? All right, let's vote. I knew that.
Fails.
Hey,
No.
you got to try.
So, all right, do we have another motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we, it's going to go the same way, 6 on one and half a dozen on the other, right? I'd like to make a motion that we keep the board at 7, and that we open up, we have applications right now. Let's accept additional applications to see if we can fill the board with folks that want to sit on the board and make quorum.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by, and I'm sorry, Mr. Oliver, and second, you said up here you think it's easy, but it's not. It's not. It's not. You all of a sudden go, who's who? Seconded by the mayor. Any more discussion? Let's vote. See?
Motion carries.
I go both ways.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question. Can I ask a
just
question
have
at
to-
this point?
The reason I hand it off to the vice mayor, I cannot make a motion as the mayor. I have to pass it off, so.
I just have a question. What happens next month? When we
see.
haven't gotten the
Let's
board
see.
together, we have a meeting,
I
and we
won't-
haven't gotten the board together, and all of a
Well,
sudden, we got a backlog. I'm just asking, throwing that
Well,
out.
I'm gonna explain that to you. We're gonna work on changing that. We're gonna go after these people and try to get them. And can you, you know whoever's on that board now? We need, how many's quorum? 4?
Quorum is 4.
All right, you need to make sure,
And I can guarantee you that I've got 3 for now, and I will make sure that there's a 4th one.
and I think,
So I will take care of that
okay.
in June. I will tell you, the May has already been done. They did.
I know.
Computer. Last Thursday, and I was here for that.
Real quick,
I want to see citizens. I just don't want a backlog.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
we don't.
That's the reason I vote.
But I will tell you, the board has had a backlog before, and they've done an exceptionally good job in clearing cases. But there is also one other thing. A lot of those cases have also resolved, that they didn't actually have to come before the board. They came into compliance.
All right.
So,
Love to see them all
Just
in
to-
compliance.
Would you make sure you talk to our city clerk?
yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Eleni?
Yes, Ms. Sibbett.
Okay. All right. And would you give me a list of what we don't have and do have? Send it to me tomorrow.
Yes, Mayor.
All right.
That, and I wanted to just voice real quick, and I know Mr. Bander did come in.
Who?
We don't want any of the members violating sunshine, so we
No.
prefer staff.
Yeah.
is the one that will reach out to any members that have not been attending the
Yeah.
meeting. So I will get with
All right,
PD.
yeah, they have to do that.
Okay, all right, that's
Okay.
fine. Listen, I'm happy to work with you, however we need to make this, to make this happen, all right? I know you were gone for a little bit. I don't know if you got my email? Yeah, I know you're back. I know
All
you're
right.
back. But Victoria did a great job in your absence, though.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, here, let's see. Oops, where we at there? All right, we're on adoption of the amended and restated initial assessment resolution for the fiscal year 25-26. Fire protection assessments. The city manager rumor. Turned over.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor and City Commission. Mike Grimmer, Assistant City Manager. The item before you is to discuss the Fire Service Assessment Program and a resolution for initial new fee update. That's the item, to approve the initial fee assessment resolution and memorandum, which will set a new fire assessment fee by ordinance, which will be similar to how you guys preset the millage for trim. It'll be a not to exceed after that point. It will also set the required public hearing date to hear the final fee on July 15th. Our fire assessments is a non-ad valorem way to direct fee based on fire risk. So it's a non-ad valorem tax that we presently collect on, or non-ad valorem fee that we presently collect from every property owner that has a building in Ocoee. This is a more equitable way to allocate fees for fire protection. And just, for example, there's approximately 20% of parcels pay no taxes, and approximately 20% pay less than 100. Those parcels would be paying their fair share for fire services within the city of Ocoee. The process that we utilize, it goes back to 2013 and 14, is accepted by the courts. I'll introduce a team of consultants we have that ensure we're meeting the letter of the law. And it is, the fire assessment fee, just to remind you, is limited to the actual cost of fire protection. It does not include transport. So currently, the annual assessment is $69.50 per fire unit. There's a study that talks about what a fire unit is. It breaks up building sizes and square foot into either 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3 fire units, and commercial are broken up that same way. Religious and institutional buildings are not subject to the fire fee. We do presently, when we get a new building permit, we do assess them an interim fee until that full fee will go on the tax roll that next year. So this is and we showed you this graph during the budget workshops and budget cycle. The red is what the fire costs have been for the last 10 years and are projected to be the next 5 years. The darker bar is the current fire fee, what we receive in revenue. The fee you're seeing it's about $2,450,000 we collect in fire assessment revenue. And then we do get money from a contract from Windermere, and there's some fire plan review fees. So that fee, starting in 2024, 25, you can see it's about $3 million. But that dark bar is what the fire assessment fee covers of the cost of fire, which you see projected in the next 5 years is going to exceed $16 million a year. So the general fund kind of finishes paying that difference between the dark bar out to the end of the red bar. Now, under the proposed fire fee that we provided in the ordinance, it goes from a rate of $69.50 to $139. And the study also reshuffled some of the fire units, and I have a table that I'll show you on that. So if we stay with the with the fire fee at $139, it will cover 36% of the budget for the fire department. The current fee of $69.50 covers roughly 17%. Our current millage is 4.95 mils, and that's ad valorem funds. We projected to collect a little over 22 million in those funds. And as we know, millage is becoming increasingly unpredictable. Voters in 2024 approved Amendment 5, which provides for the second $25,000 homestead exemption, that it be based off inflation rates. For I have an example here, if the rate of inflation is 8%, that $25,000 homeowners homestead exemption would go up to $27,000. So we're going to start seeing some some ad valorem fees in the next coming years. And as we know, the legislature is meeting right now on property taxes as well. Next steps. So today we presented you with the ordinance, which sets the preliminary fee. We will then mail out to every property owner what a maximum fee will be. We will hold a public hearing in July 15th, and then set the final fee, which will go on the trim in the bill for property taxes. I have the consultants here. I have Sandra Newbarth with Answer, who has provided the fire assessment memorandum, studied the fees, studied the fire calls we've had over the term of our existing assessment, projecting out to the future as well as budgets. I also have Heather Encinosa. She is the attorney with Neighbors, Giblin, and Nickerson. She makes sure that we're following the letter of the law. And then we also have Vanna, our acting finance director, that we've all been working on this and ready to entertain any questions you may have.
All right. I'm going to let the lawyer read the resolution.
Thank you, Mayor. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Ocoee, Florida, relating to the provision of fire protection services, facilities, and programs throughout the City of Ocoee, establishing the terms and conditions for a fire protection assessment program, describing the method of assessing fire protection assessed cost against assessed property located within the City of Ocoee, establishing the estimated assessment rate for fire protection assessments for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2025, directing the preparation of an assessment roll, authorizing a public hearing, and directing the provision of notice thereof, providing for a vacancy adjustment for mobile home park and recreational vehicle park property, providing for fire flow mitigation credits, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
All right. I'm going to let y'all come to the dais, and then the commissioner's going to ask questions if they want questions. I'll open it.
And Mayor, we will, for the July 15th, it'll be advertised as a public hearing, letters going out. We'll have a really robust, more robust presentation.
Well, I'm going to let them come up, and then we can ask, the commissioner can ask questions. You introduce yourself, and then go ahead.
I'm sorry, Sandy Newbarth with Answer Advisory.
I'm Heather Encinosa. I'm with Neighbors, Giblin, and Nickerson.
All righty. Do you want to say anything before we let them ask you a question, or you just want to wait and see if anybody has any questions? Let's do that. All right, commissioners. Anybody got questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
While reading this, as our assistant city manager was going through the presentation, I'm looking at the current assessment. The current assessment rate, unit rate, is $69.50. That is the per fire protection unit reflection. Is that correct, right?
Correct.
The recommendation is to go to $139.23 per unit. That's a 100% increase. That is a 100% increase. It's an additional $70.25, right?
Yep.
Okay, so looking at that and reading what it says here, if we went 100% out, which is that $139.23 per unit, if we did that, that covers, when we looked at the red bar and the little gray bars, it covers 36% of that. So that gray bar covers 36% of the red bar, right? Okay, so what I want to know is, I would like to know, in layman's term, as a homeowner that pays taxes, what does that mean to my bottom line when it comes to my home, my household budget.
I've got a slide for that, Commissioner. Thank you for asking that. So what this slide shows is what the existing $69.50 rate based off of the square footage of home. So a home from 100 square feet to 1199 would be one unit, and their rate would be $69.50. Then you have the next level, which would be a home 1,200 square feet to 1,199. Their rate they presently pay would be $104.25. You can see 2,000 square feet to 3,099 is $139, going up to $173.75 and $208.50. Under the proposed fee, to the right, you'll see what the fee increase on the non-ad valorem tax bill would be. And then I provided in the third column, the way the county does their fire fee, it is under millage. It has a millage rate of 2.8437. And so showing you, and I put an example up there, a home with a value of $200,000 and with the $50,000 in exemptions, what those fees would be. So the good thing is our assessments are not based off millage. It's not volatile with exemptions and not. So under this fair, equitable way, you can see that the bottom line, typical house between 2,000 to 3,099 square feet would be paying $278.46. That same house in the county would be paying $426.55 under the county's millage for fire service fees.
So we charge based on square footage of the house. So
The rate,
the bigger my house is, the more I'm gonna pay.
it gets into another fire tier. And so that is studied on how many responses to houses of that size has the city fire department made. So it's broken up into these different tier based off square footage.
Okay.
So it's not dollar for dollar based off the square footage. If you're in that range, you fit your 2 units or your 2.5 units.
Okay.
So 65% of your single-family houses are going to pay between 205 to 274. That's where the bulk of your properties are, either in Tier 2 and Tier 3. That's where the bulk of your properties are for your single family.
Anybody else? Commissioner Kirshner?
Am I correct to assume that the fire fee, since its institution, has never been raised?
One time.
We initially set a fee, then the commission set it to 0. And then
And has the operational costs of the fire department gone down in those years?
I can
No.
show you here, yeah. So you were looking at a budget after you were chief, the 8 million mark. Now we're looking at 16 million to be the consistent budget for fire services, not EMS. That is
Not EMS, no. That pays for itself, basically. How many,
Does it?
well, not exactly.
But by statute, we can't include EMS in the fire assessment.
How many fire engines do we have in the city now that are due to be replaced within the next 3 years?
I have a slide for that, thank you. That was included in the budget, but I did include that slide. We have,
It was in the report.
thought I had a slide for it. I might have taken it out.
I think that was in the report that we read.
Yes, there's 3.
There's 3 that are coming due to be replaced. And how much does an average fire engine cost these days?
I'll
1.2
defer to the city manager for that.
10 years ago, it was about $480,000. Today, it's about $1.15 million.
Yes.
And that is with a 3-year delivery time.
Yes.
The commission did this year budget to relieve some of the pressure with the new life packs, but the costs in this industry are going at an alarming rate. And one other thing I wanted to add to this is that, as Mike said, this is a more equitable way based on fire standards. In other words, these smaller houses that aren't requiring the effort that a bigger house aren't paying as much because they have fewer fire protection units. That's not how the county's MSTU works. And we've tried to keep it where it would be a little less than what the county would do. And then the other thing is, as I stated, and it's painful to say it here tonight, if we don't do this, then I will be having to propose a millage rate increase, because if you all recall, we were forced to remain competitive with some of our public safety salaries, to increase police salaries 20% last year, and that's a recurring cost. So in order to meet that with the revenue decreases that we're anticipating, we are strongly recommending that you do this.
I agree. How many additional firefighters are we going to need to man the ladder truck now and get all of the engines up to minimum manning standard?
Well, I'm going to handle this, Chief, because Chief's going to come up and tell you.
He said you're going to come up.
Sorry, he wants to tell you that we need to hire 12 new people, to run the ladder truck. We've discussed putting that ladder truck into service right now and proposing only one additional person per shift in the coming budget. That will allow us to put it in service to operate as a unit, and some of our neighbors, like Winter Garden, are doing the same thing right now. It allows us to grow into the needs of having a full complementary shift of 12 new firefighters. So that's what I'll be proposing in the budget for that.
Just for discussion, what the study showed is the maximum fire rate we could assess by law per unit would be $386.75.
Still under the MSTU rate.
Yeah, but it
So that'd
wouldn't
be
be.
per unit, though.
We're not recommending that.
Yes.
But it-
Oh, I know. And it's unfair that I ask these questions because I knew the answers before I asked the questions. I'm not knocking the fire department. They're doing a great job. They're doing what they have to do. And that is the purpose of this fire assessment fee, is to help pay for the services that we're providing to the citizens of Ocoee. It's nothing extra and above board, no frills. This is what it costs to run the fire department. Now, that isn't to mention all the equipment, the protective clothing, the hose, you name it. It all needs to be replaced on a regular basis, and it all comes due year after year after year. We have to find a revenue source to at least defray that expense somewhat. Like the city manager said, the only thing I can see in lieu of increasing this fee, which will only pay about 36% of the cost, is to raise the millage rate. And that's a no-no. No one wants to talk about that. But that's the facts of life. You know, somebody has to pay the bill. And it's getting to the point now where our ad valorem revenue is being eroded by the state, and we're not getting as much there. So we're headed in a bad downward curve in the way of revenue coming into the city. This is going to help defray that cost a little bit, at least for fire services. And it's something that we can't do without. It's something that you don't have the option to pay for it or not, because when the telephone rings, we go. And it doesn't matter how big the house is, how small the house is, who's living there, we provide the same level of professional service. We didn't reach ISO 1 and nationally accreditation for, being lackadaisical in the way that we provide support. We provide the best professional service that money can buy. We're not asking for more. We're just asking to help defray that cost a little bit. 17% of what our expenses are, that's terrible. That really is. That's spit in the ocean. So my idea is that this is a necessary evil. We have to do it. And still no guarantee that the millage won't go up, but it'll help keep it down as low as we possibly can get it. Thank you.
You should have did the staff report.
Yeah. I don't think I can improve on that. And I appreciate that, because again, we know legislatures, you said, roads are issues when they start giving, when we vote for these exemptions, these 25,000, all that does is decrease what we're going to have to run the city on. This is kind of a prickly issue whenever we talk about raising rates, but I don't think I can say anything better than Mr. Firstner just said.
I agree with you that it's what is a necessity of what we have to do with all the different people in our county and the different departments. When they raise their salaries, we lose people to those other places, which means we got to go out and start over again and start from the start. And it takes, they're offering more money, so they're not going to stay. But there's another alternative, and I'm not going to say it because if you're like most citizens, you wouldn't want to do it.
I'm not going to ask.
Well, I'm not going to say it, 'cause they'll think I'm saying that, but I'm just telling you, there's an alternative. But as citizens, and we all know, most citizens would never want to do that. So, but then you have to we got to take up the slack and come up with the money. So, I mean, I would say, does this run along with everybody else on other cities with this kind of quote?
Everybody is different. It depends on the level of service, the level of funding. But it's not absorbent.
Yeah. All right, the other thing is, nothing against the fire department, but I don't think that ladder truck needs to run on every run anyway, so I don't know where you want 12 new people. I mean, you don't run it except you run it to the hospital or to the hotels.
Gotta have them.
That truck don't need to be running on a full-time thing.
When you need it, you need it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have people, like you said, running the shift.
Well, we're not proposing, 12 new this year. We're going to propose an extra person so we could maintain the minimum staffing level on that to put it in service. And I think that's our recommendation for the most cost-effective way to get it into service. And it's similar to what other cities. I wanted to add one thing, too, that's important. In talking with some of our colleagues, some cities are actually doing community surveys in light of what the legislature is doing or considering doing with property taxes. And surprisingly, a lot of citizens have at least said in other places that if it came to cutting services versus paying less in taxes, that a lot of places would rather keep their services or certain services. But that's something that we're monitoring very closely so that we can try to gauge what revenue losses we may be looking at coming out of this special session. And we're trying to work with our local delegation as well and respond to any requests that they have.
All right. Y'all have any questions, ladies?
No,
I'm going to open it to the public hearing. Anybody in the public? You have to fill out a form too, sir. Come up. You get 3 minutes.
It's just a simple question. It won't take 3 minutes. Good evening. How you all doing?
Great.
My simple question I have is about the ladder truck. How do we plan on operating the ladder truck with one additional person to the staff?
Come on down.
Yeah. Give me your name over the mic, sir.
Chris Chambers.
Yes, sir. What we're planning on doing with the ladder truck, instead of running it in conjunction with an engine, we already have an engine crew available here at Station 25. We'll take those members and move them into the new ladder truck so we can get some use on that ladder truck. This year, we've been going through the process of getting everybody specially trained to be on that ladder truck. So in essence, what we're doing is we're taking an engine and putting it in a reserve status and putting that same crew into the ladder.
So when the call goes out, you'll leave the suppression unit, the engine behind, and take the ladder truck?
We'll have suppression units coming along with them, but they do have quick reacting suppression capabilities as well.
Okay. That's it. That's
Okay,
my-
thank you. All right. Anybody else?
I'll fill out a form. Hi, I'm Noreen Dworkin, Editor-in-Chief of Vox Populi. My question is related to, sorry. If this is only going to cover a portion of the fire department's costs, where's the money going to come from to cover the rest of it?
General fund, AKA ad valorem
So
revenue.
the citizens will cover the rest of it?
Absolutely. There are no alternative funding sources.
Okay.
We try to get grants when we can, but a recurring cost, has to be absorbed in the budget after the grant runs out.
Okay, just super quick follow-up. Do you have something in mind to cover the services for police?
We are covering police with general fund revenues.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, I'm close the public hearing, bring it back up to the dais. We need, no more discussion, we need a vote.
I thought we're coming back in July, or is it June, whatever the.
You still got to adopt.
Yeah, we still need the resolution
Yeah,
to be
it's
adopted.
setting the initial,
Okay.
yes, new fee of $139.20.
I need a motion for the resolution.
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution.
Motion made by Commissioner Ferschner for the resolution. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more comments? No more comments. Let's vote. Oops, it passed unanimously with Commissioner Kennedy absent. Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you. All right, we're going down to number 8, appointment of members to the Human Relations Diversity Board. City Clerk.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This evening, we have the appointment of the District 4 member, which I did speak with Commissioner Oliver, and his appointment would be Robert Henderson, who was the applicant that we received prior to the packet going out. Currently, we did not receive any applications for the District 3 seat. We also did reach out to the current member, and he just expressed uncertainty about being reappointed at this time. Our recommendation would just be to leave the seat vacant, that District 3 seat vacant, until an application is received for that district. And at that point, I can put it on the agenda for appointment.
Okay.
Will that create may I ask a question, Mayor?
Go ahead.
Will that create a quorum issue on that board?
No, because our quorum is based on our membership of members on the board, not on any vacancies. So even though it's, say, maybe a 7-member board, if there's only 6 members, our quorum's based on the 6 members that are currently on the board. We wouldn't base it off of the 7.
So is it 3 + 1?
Correct, it's 51.
Okay.
Now, with that board, I don't think we've had an issue with quorum.
Anybody else? All right. We have to vote on that?
I think you guys made a formal motion
Yeah.
at the last meeting for your appointment, so we would just be making a formal motion for the appointment of Robert Henderson to represent District 4.
You want to make that, Commissioner?
Yep, I'll make the motion to appoint Mr. Henderson as the District 4 member of the HRDB Board.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more talk? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Kennedy absent. Thank you. All right, that it on that? Okay. We're going to move into comments from commissioners. Before we do that, I'm going to read my little thing here. Memorial Day ceremony for May, Thursday, May the 22nd, 11 o'clock through 12 o'clock at the Ocoee Lake Shore Center. It'll be air-conditioned in there. Join us as we pay tribute to all the men and women who gave their lives while serving in the United States Armed Forces. The guest speaker will be Shay Tally Bradley. That's a kind of a catchy name. A retired U.S. Army colonel. Refreshments will be served after the ceremony. Envision 2045 Community Outreach Meeting, Wednesday, May the 28th, 6 p.m. through 8 p.m., Ocoee Lake Shore Center. A presentation of the draft 20-year comprehensive plan will take place at 6 o'clock, followed by questions and answers with staff at the info stations. Refreshments will be served. June events, Ocoee Community Market, Thursday, June the 5th, 5 p.m. through 9 p.m., Ocoee Lakeshore Center. This month's market is focused on Superhero Summer, Cookies and Milk with a Cop, Summer Series. Story times will be held on Fridays through June the 6th and 27th, July the 11th and the 25th, from 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., West Oaks Library Branch. Registration is required. Visit ocoee.org or the classes and events page on the Orange County Library System website to register. Okay, Commissioner Wilson.
I think you covered everything except, I just,
I taught me a lesson.
I know that you've done that. I'm assuming the 28th, that will be a notice meeting, so we can attend the comp plan meeting? That will be,
Absolutely.
thank you.
It'll be properly posted.
Thank you, that's concern. Other that, happy Memorial Day, and we will see you on June 3rd, would be our next meeting, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's it, thank you.
Commissioner Firstner.
No, I don't have any comments.
Commissioner Oliver.
Just a few comments. I visited the backyard. It's the food truck. It's like a outdoor extravaganza of food trucks. It's actually at 2214 West Road across from the Publix. It looks like a house with a bunch of parking spaces in front, but when you go around the back, it is amazing. So,
Air-conditioned?
well,
No.
no. They have hammocks and a lot of shade. It butts right up against the West Orange Trail, so a lot of bicycles actually come off of the trail and they actually spend time eating, having food, and drinks as well. So they have not had a grand opening yet, and I was told that they're going to reach out to the city for their grand opening, and we will surely be there because the food is tremendous. The food is amazing. Summer safety for our seniors. I want to kind of focus on summer safety for the seniors. I have a few tips. Staying hydrated, drinking at least 8 or more glasses of water per day. Is a promotion of healthy hydration. Know the side effects of your medication. Some medications have side effects such as drowsiness and sun sensitivity. Stay cool, stay inside, stay in air-conditioned spaces. Go swimming if you can. Wear light and loose-fitting clothing. Also, have emergency contacts with you. One of the things that I keep near my phone is an emergency contact card. So if something happened, I'm not responsive, you can get a emergency contact from me. If you went high tech, you can get a dot card. So if a millennium finds you unresponsive, they'll know how to use this, so they can get to your emergency contacts. Know the weather. So also look at the weather forecast. Plan your days according to the weather. So those are just some summer safety tips for our seniors. Also, high school graduation is May 30th. A lot of the kids, the seniors are already out of school, so they're on the roads. So be safe. Be mindful of these, a lot of inexperienced drivers, the kids. So just watch out for the kids and drive for them. So just keep that in mind as we're on our roadways. Also, one of the things I wanted to bring up was we're going through a 100-year centennial in the city of Ocoee, and we have a lot going on. And I was listening to the comments at the last event we had where we did the time capsule, and we talked about how we got to this point and all the folks that help us get to this point. One of the things that I just want to bring up is we have folks that are commissioners that have served on this dais here that are still in the community. I want to make sure as we move forward that we include them. We have like there's a congressional resolution or congressional proclamation that we'll be receiving I think if you served on this board for 5 minutes or 50 years, you played a part in getting us to where we are. So I want to make sure that they're included in this 100-year centennial, because they did play a part in getting us to where we are today. And then finally, I had one last question, and it was concerning the cameras for the school zones. Will they be operational when school's out?
We answered that last time. He said no.
No, I'm talking about when we get to the summer. When we get to the summer
he
months,
said
and
no.
there's no school, so they won't be operational.
No, sir, Commissioner, won't be operational for schools out, holidays, or weekends.
Okay, perfect. So all I have left is my quote. It goes, if an egg is broken out from an outside force, life ends. If broken with inside force, life begins. Great things always begin from inside. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Did I ask you already?
Yeah,
Ooh.
you already stole my thunder, so, yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Talking about one of the things real quick, I just want to make a couple quick comments of code enforcement. We up here have to address the code enforcement issues in the city, because I know Craig, I'm not going to take your thunder, but I was talking to you earlier, and it was the code enforcement owed to the city is what, 11 million?
We have $11.6 million in outstanding code liens.
So we, as a commission, have got to sit down and come up with some kind of remedy to addressing the issues with the code enforcement. One of the things is there's no responsibility if you own a home that they just don't pay it till they try to sell it. But there's other issues that go with the code enforcement we need to address. So I'd like we work on that during the next few months.
We're planning to bring back a series of recommendations with regard to the outstanding liens that we have, and go over what your options are and seek direction. And as a reminder, we also were directed by the commission at the last meeting to come back with a presentation so that we can identify to you where the gaps are we think might need to be filled in with a code update to address some of the commission's comments at the last meeting about people that game the system. You know, they are actively violating the code, and they know just when to pull the cars in or move them or something like that to avoid getting a citation. So we'll have some recommendations to that, as well as being prepared to discuss the outstanding liens, code liens.
Am I not right, in the commercial, you can foreclose on commercial?
That's correct.
But in residential homes, you can't.
If it's homestead.
Huh?
If it's homestead, you
If
cannot.
it's homesteaded, that's what I'm saying. If it's a rental house somebody's renting and they don't make sure it is a.
You can then foreclose.
But the problem is, we've got places, and you go to these places, you got semis parking around town, no matter how many times you tell them no, they'll be right back at that place. They're parking there. So, I mean, there's got to be a way to set a fine that'll stop that, or they're going to have to pay a lot of money. Because they're parking back again against the homeowners out there off Silver Star. They're out parking in the mall. I don't know if that's legal either. Is the semis parking in the mall now legal? They live in there all weekend, so I don't know if that's legal or not. But we got a problem with code enforcement in the city that we need, not as much little things, but I mean big things where the people are doing things we've got to put the quote to them and get them to stop. That'd be it. Everybody have a great, we had the Asian, the 5th year in a row for the Asian, I forget what the title was, but Mr. Fourier was there. I was there Saturday. They put on a great, I call it a history show, really. It's of all the countries that are here in the United States that came over and got to be citizens and stuff like that. It was great. They had a lot, they probably had close to 1,000 people running around out there Saturday. They did a great job. And when Commissioner Oliver made the comment about the, what we call it, bear in the news, or what was that called? At the McGuire House.
Oh, about the centennial. We talked about, what we talked
Time
about.
capsule.
Time capsule, yeah.
That was great. You, is it still not in the capsule yet? They have it somewhere to look at? Make it quick, I'm running out of time.
We're getting some final items from OCPS, a yearbook and stuff like that. Then we will bury it, and then the next crew will come in and put on the landscaping, and then the cap and the monument.
All right, so the other thing was on May the 9th, we had the 100-year deal at the lake. Poured rain, of course, we hadn't had any rain, but there's in a month or two, and it come down. But I mean, it was pouring. But it was a great function. Our staff did a great job. They did a wonderful job putting that together and putting the things together we're doing. Also, July the 4th, we'll be down at the lake, and we'll have the fireworks and some refreshments and stuff going on, and music at that too. So July the 4th, it'll be in the afternoon. I forget what time is, you know what the time is? Anybody? I don't have it with me. Mike?
July the 4th will be 6 to 9.
There you go, 6 to 9.
And
So
it'll-
come out to that.
It'll be more set up on McKee Street, but the
Yeah,
fireworks
McKee
will be
Street.
on
Yeah.
over the lake,
Right.
though. We'll give
Okay,
time
thank
for
you very
people to
much.
walk.
Everybody have a great hot weekend.